All right. I will get started right now. If you do have any questions when I'm talking about the material, please jump in. Don't hesitate to stop me and ask your questions. I want this to be more of a conversation rather than me talking about some AI concepts and how it's impacting companies right now. It would be a lot better and more enjoyable for me as well if you also contributed and shared your perspectives, your questions on this. So with that, let me go in. Intro, this group does not really need it, but as you all know, AI is making a big impact on many facets of our lives, and business is getting impacted significantly from that as well. And the talk today will be about how specifically that is happening. Before moving into that, a brief context about my career. I have started my career as a management consultant with McKinsey. I served companies mainly in technology and financial services for about 3 years there. Then I moved to private equity, which is basically buying companies, improving them, operating them for 4, 5, 6 years, and then selling them again to make a profit. And I combined the strategic know-how that I got from McKinsey with the investor's mindset that I had to acquire while doing the private equity job. And lastly, I'm currently working at Meta, the tech company, and running the strategy function for Central Europe region. That's my background. So, starting to talk about AI. As you all know, the biggest impact that we are observing right now is happening in the area of automation. There are many use cases where AI is being used to automate either processes or certain work, and generally done with the eye of streamlining things and increasing efficiency, the speed with which we complete those tasks. The chatbots is one of the most common examples that's already in use very widely. I'm sure you have interacted with a lot of chatbots when you are either trying to reach your bank or whether you are trying to return an item. Most companies are currently already using this. The big players in each of the use cases, I will give examples of the big players. So when you see a product or when you follow the space, you at least know where to check which companies to look into to see and to use depending on what you do and those products. IBM has a good product in terms of a chatbot. Amazon has Lex. Google has Dialogflow. Dialogflow is also has the API, so it can connect to your own service and provide the chatbot within your own front end, your own infrastructure. And Microsoft has the bot framework. Second biggest use, I think, right now is around voice recognition. This is again used for a variety of purposes. This is used for customer service. This is used when you are doing voice-enabled search and navigation, like when you are talking to your GPS unit or when you are talking to your Alexa, controlling your home systems, turning up and down the light, turning up and down the volume, heating, etc. in your home. And there are the use cases on this one is broadening rapidly. Nuance is an interesting product by Dragon on this one. Sorry, the name of the product is Dragon. The company is Nuance. SoundHound is putting in the market Houndify, which is an interesting voice recognition product as well. And Bit.ai is the third most, I think, well-known player in this area. Robotic process automation is basically the programs or the processes that we use to automate manual, repetitive tasks such as data entry, such as copying and pasting existing data from one system to another, which we used to do with a lot of like human power, and it's still a lot of companies do, using a lot of manpower. But this space is growing rapidly within these companies. UiPath has, I think, like 2 years ago or so, had a really big IPO. I think it's in terms of the number of customers, in terms of size of revenues, is the market leader right now, and they have a really good automation product. And the two others that are worth mentioning, if you want to check, are the Automation Anywhere and WorkFusion. I think image recognition is then the last of these recognition type of technologies. This is used in very different settings. This is used in manufacturing settings to visually inspect the end products. It's used in security to basically pull the video feed images into these programs to do surveillance. This is used again in facial recognition, both to like suggest people to tag in photos, as well as like opening doors, etc., using people's face. And it's also used in monitoring inventory levels in warehouses, in storage facilities as well. Amazon has, similar to the Lex that we have seen a couple of slides ago, has this Recognition product. And there's Google's product Vision API. And the Clarify is the big independent in between these three. The next one that I want to talk about is the mobility one. When we say mobility, most of us think about the electric cars and Teslas that drive themselves, but it's not only that. It's, in addition to that, autonomous delivery, autonomous logistics, autonomous trucks, autonomous buses, even the robots that you have, I'm sure, seen the videos of from Boston Dynamics that can do a lot of interesting things, are evaluated within the umbrella of autonomous mobility. And this is, again, I'm sure we have followed it up. The technology and the use cases in this space are like growing exponentially right now. Tesla is leading. Waymo is Google's self-driving autonomous car project. EasyMile is the interesting company that does self-driving buses and trucks. And Boston Dynamics is the leader in autonomous robots right now, if you want to check. The next one is data analysis. In addition to automation, I think the second big use case for AI right now is in data analysis. And I've separated this into two: one, general data analysis tools, and second, big box as supply chain optimization tools. These tools that I'm talking about in the first page are more generic, like Tableau, for example, is a product that has been in use for a long time. It's generally regarded as a BI product where it shows you data about your sales, your company performance, your internal metrics, whatever. And you use tables and you would create some custom reports to analyze and understand what's going on with your business. These companies, as time passed and as AI technology evolved, basically inputted that AI into their, embedded is a better word, I think, the AI technology into their products, so that the AI can analyze much larger data sets and identify some trends and correlations that humans analyzing those data sets may not have uncovered before. And that would enable the businesses to make more informed, better decisions. These are the more generic ones. The reason I separated out supply chain is, I think, in terms of data analysis space, this is the most crowded, this is the like fastest emerging subgroup. Products here are used for demand forecasting, they are used for inventory management, they are used to optimize the delivery locations, looking into the traffic, looking into different delivery routes, looking into fuel costs, like other shipping related charges, etc. They can do supply chain visibility. They can create real-time visibility into the shipment. And if there's a problem, then the company reacts in real time to solve, direct a ship that's, for example, going to a port, change where it's going to go and unload its load, etc. And they are also going into product distribution space, analyzing where the demand is most, where you would get the better price, what's the market condition is like in the product, in the areas that you may want to distribute your product, and they can give recommendations to as to which areas to prioritize and which areas to deprioritize today. Kinaxis and IBM's Watson supply chain are the ones that I've seen the most. But in addition to these two, the Era and Blue Yonder is the two others that I have not personally seen, but I'm hearing it's being used in this capacity in many of the businesses that we talk to. The next one is about innovating in customer service. Similar to chatbots, the automated voice response products are really ubiquitous these days. It's very difficult to talk to an actual human being when you call a call center these days. It's like really difficult to connect to a human agent because these things try to understand who you are, do the first security check, understand what the problem is. They then try to solve your problem without connecting you to a human. And then if all of these, at the end of all of these steps, they cannot still solve your problem, then this thing may actually connect you to a human being, which can be quite frustrating, which I think shows to us that the technology is not there yet. It's not there in terms of really understanding what the customer needs and being able to offer the solution on the spot. But companies are still using it with an eye to reduce the costs of their call centers. I'm sure when you call your bank, you have come across one of these. You can ask them the current balance. You can ask to do certain things. This can help you access specific information about your account. And if all else fails, then this thing can connect you to the actual human customer representative to help you with your problem. Avaya and Alvaria, these companies used to sell call center equipment, and as the technology progressed, they included the AVR systems in their product portfolios. And Genesis is the more concentrated AVR one in the space. Other than customer service, these have use cases in marketing. Content optimization is one big one. When you think about it, the job of creating which content to show to which customer is a complex one. And you need to do a lot of customer analysis. And historically, this has been done by segmenting those customers into certain groups and trying to say, okay, this segment would be interested in that kind of marketing offering or that kind of content. With the advent of these tools, you can now analyze a lot more data. And because these things can work 24/7 using only CPU power, doesn't require a lot of human input into the work, they can create individual customer by individual customer tailored content. And they can also help the marketers to optimize the content for different channels. You can use different content for social media, your web, your mobile, and other channels that you may want to be present. Marketo Engage is the I think the first one and currently the biggest, and Bright Edge and Evergage are the other two followers in the space currently that we are observing. Legal work, this is a big one. These things, I would not have expected the AI to impact the legal industry as fast as it did. But currently, many AI tools are better in conducting research than human lawyers because they can look into like thousands and thousands of pages of documents, way more than a human can actually go and do research on. In terms of document discovery, even if you get from the plaintiff side, for example, like 10,000 page disclosure as part of a trial, you can dump it on an AI tool, and it goes through all of the documents and picks out the relevant information, which would take a lot of time using humans, and they tend to miss things. And going into previous cases in law, doing case research, doing all types of legal research, these things are a lot more efficient and a lot better right now than actual human lawyers. Most people I talk to are estimating like a couple of senior lawyers at firms utilizing these tools to generate the first draft of the contracts, do the first round of research, etc., rather than using more junior lawyers, which is the case, which has been the case mostly up until now. So this industry is going to be impacted in a big way from AI. This one, creative activities, I would have expected it to be protected from AI as well, because most of us think creativity is like unique to humans. It's not algorithmic, it's not mechanistic. We are engaging in a special kind of activity when we are creating music or creating video or creating art. But it appears that, especially in music and video generation, these AI tools are pretty much indistinguishable from humans. And you can tell, create me a tone that's upbeat, or create me a tone that's great for exercise, etc. And these things will come up with really good playlists. So the creation of the piece itself is getting removed from the creators that we relied on in the past. This will have big impacts on the economics of the current creator economy, influencer economy. Think what happens when the videos that the influencer records today can be generated by AI promoting a product. This will have a big impact on that economy, we think. One of the last ones that I want to identify is this specific piece on identifying customer needs. I was really surprised to learn these fashion companies has adopted AI products. Currently, in some of these companies, when you search for a specific item, such as a red skirt with like polka dots on it, even if the product doesn't exist in the company's inventory, an AI tool looking at the keywords that you entered in will generate some drawings. It'll put them next to whatever is available in their inventory within the product page. And if you select those AI generated items, then it will become an actual product. It triggers a series of events starting in their ERP system, in their warehouses, in their supply chain, to actually generate that product that was designed by an AI. So you basically buy a product that an AI thinks, based on the keywords that you entered, you would be interested in, without that product even existing. I would not have expected these garment producers to be that advanced in the use of AI, but apparently these companies that you can take a look if you want, if you're interested, are really embracing this technology and using it in their operations. This is the content piece that I wanted to basically go through with you very quickly. Making predictions in these things are generally risky. You run the risk of sounding stupid a couple of years down the road, and this, like a lot of smart people has stepped into that. In the past, there are really funny examples, but I'll be bold and I'll make a prediction that almost all of the software products that we use in 10 years will have some form of AI functionality embedded in them. The space is growing so rapidly, and there are so many niches that can be exploited using the data that we are generating and collecting. Also, the computing power that we have available, it's going to be basically embedded in almost all of the software products that we use in 10 years. That's my prediction. And up until now, it was me talking and going through examples. Now I want to invite you to contribute and share your opinions and ask questions, if possible. And I wanted to put some thought-provoking things on the page to kick off the discussion. Gartner in 2019 said 80% of today's project management tasks will be eliminated by 2030, when they were analyzing the AI. And it was 2019 AI, not 2023 AI at the time. What do you think? Even the project management jobs that are complex things, that they require coordinating a large number of humans, understanding deadlines, making judgments on priorities, changing those priorities from time to time. What do you think? Do you think it's going to be mostly done by AI as well, or is it a bit too complex for these products and it'll still require human judgment? Anyone wants to share their opinions with us? No one?
This is scary to see that many, like, how artificial intelligence is just taking over some jobs that normally people do, and now people are not required. So I have heard a lot of coworkers and friends that just don't want to adopt many solutions with artificial intelligence because they don't want to lose their job. So they don't propose to their management or bosses and everything. They don't propose these kind of solutions because they want to keep their jobs as they are doing them.
I have seen that as well. People are getting afraid that if they found a better way of doing their job using these tools and services, then the way that they found may outcompete them in terms of the cost, the speed, the reliability. And yes, I have also heard instances of where employees are actually not going forward or even hiding certain AI solutions that could help the companies. I think Pierre is also contributing through chat, saying that not within 7 years, in terms of whether it's going to be there in 10 years. I think this is in response to my previous slide where I predicted most or all AI software products will have some form of AI in them. And Pierre said, not within 7 years, too much confusion to sort through at the moment, and adoption takes time. Pierre, did I get it right? Were you referring to my previous slide? Do you want to elaborate on this one?
This is Pierre. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Yes, thank you for responding. And yes, I was referring to the Gartner,
Yes.
March 20th statement about 80% of today's project management will be eliminated by 2030. I think right now there's a lot of sorting going on, and we're kind of in the very, very early stages of start, which is kind of weird because we've had AI for quite a bit. I mean, we've had chatbots forever and a day.
Yeah.
We've had, you know, we've had that for a while, but I think now with people seeing how things can be applied, I think there's a lot of things that have to be sorted out before people can start consistently saying, "Hey, we're going to take out these certain positions from project management." So I'll say that and keep quiet. I wasn't sure if I should have joined in through the mic or through the chat. So thank you.
Thank you, Pierre. Thanks. My personal opinion is also, again, this prediction may look like we are like saying really stupid things to the next generation of AI people who are going to watch these things. But my intuition is also this piece, coordinating actual humans, coordinating different projects that are going on around it, making judgments, especially about priorities, strategic advantages and disadvantages of different options, seems to be a bit too complex for AI because it requires kind of a general intelligence, not a specific domain-bound ability, but being able to get understanding, information, data from very different sides of a company, and each in their own context, and synthesize all that information into a coherent set of decisions to enable all of the participants in the project to work together and achieve an objective. So to my mind, I don't think 2030 for project management also does not sound realistic. But if there's the other side of the argument, if there's someone among us right now who thinks that's gonna definitely be there by 2030, I'd love to hear about that side of the argument as well. I'm gonna give like 30 seconds for someone to either jump in or raise their hands if we have that side of the argument. I think I lost my screen. Do you see my screen share?
Yes.
Okay, great. I have jumped to my last slide. Probably there wasn't anyone that's gonna argue the other side of the argument in the Gartner slide. This is also partially in response to, I think, Maria's thought or argument. They have done this study, and they looked into jobs and how they can be automated, or how suitable they are to be automated, I think is the right way to put it. And this is also a couple of years old. I think 2019 or 20 is the date for this study. And they found out that the least suitable ones, or the ones that has the lowest probability of automation, were the things like medical practitioners, like the doctors and the nurses that we have. Teaching, especially in the higher education side of things. Second and third related to teaching, fourth as well. Dentists, psychologists, medical radiographers, physiotherapists, occupational therapists. When you look at the first 10, you see a clear dominance by healthcare, medical practitioners, dentals, psychologists, radiographers, physiotherapists, occupational therapists, nursery, and teaching. It's interesting that these two big sectors of the economy, take healthcare, is 18% of US GDP. It's huge. Think education also, like tons of public and private schools, vocational training establishments, courses. There's really large amounts of GDP being produced in those two sectors. And when they look into what the job entails, they think those occupations are not really suitable for automation, or there's low chance that they will be automated. On the other side, if you look at, they evaluated, I think, 370 occupations in this one. There is much more, of course. If you look at the other side of the scale and look into what's the highest probability of automation is, it's things like waiters and waitresses, shelf fillers, basic sales stuff, bar stuff, kitchen and catering, sewing machinists, cleaner and domestics. Here, you see the dominance of retail types of jobs, the jobs that today a human being is performing, but you could argue it's less intellectually sophisticated. It's more like using the body of a human to serve the food, in terms of waiters and waitresses, or put things on the shelf, in terms of the shelf fillers. I think I agree with this worker, and I think now I've seen some examples, if I'm not mistaken, in Japan, where some restaurants, Japan, you might know that population is really old, population is also shrinking, there are not many young people working in the retail, etc. Some restaurants basically eliminated waiters and waitresses, and they are using like miniature robots to bring the dishes from the kitchen to your table, and like there's an assembly line kind of thing where you put the tables back when you are done with them, so that the assembly line kind of band basically takes everything back to the kitchen. Some of this have already started to be used, I think. And in terms of shelf fillers, there are good experiments where robots with like hand-like contraptions that are like using pressure sensors and soft touch mechanisms to just grab packages, bring them from one location to another, and put it on shelves, etc. So I have seen the examples of the first two. I have not seen the examples of the others. I currently cannot imagine how you would automate a bartender, for example, with AI. But this is the list that the scientists who looked into jobs came up with. There is a couple of comments in the chat. Could you share the complete list? Agree with Gonzalo. I would love to see the whole study and data. I will pick up the link. It's in my resources. I will pick up the link, and I'll share that into the emails that you have used to register for this call. I'll provide the list. Thank you so much for reminding that. This was also one of my debate pages. Is there anything that you strongly agree with or disagree with? Is there any type of profession that you want to briefly talk about? Happy to hear your voices. Manuel, are you gonna say something? I think your screen flickered a little bit. All right. I am interpreting the silence as no one is disagreeing with the list. As I said, I'll find out the link for this study and I'll share that one through the emails that you have registered. That was my talk today. Thanks so much for attending. Thanks so much for listening, and thanks so much for contributing, especially to Maria, Pierre, Benjamin. I really enjoyed hearing your voices and hearing your opinions as well. And I think I can give back the remaining 7 minutes of your time tonight. Night for me in London, and then day for the ones that are joining from Mexico. Have a great rest of the week, and take good care.
You too. Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye. Thank you for all.